Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel where we dive into the most intriguing and thought-provoking philosophical topics. Today, we're going to explore existential philosophy, a field that tackles the big questions about human existence, freedom, and the meaning of life. So, grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive in. What is existential philosophy? Existential philosophy focuses on individual human experience, personal freedom, and the quest for meaning. It emerged in the late 19th century and gained momentum in the 20th century with thinkers like Søren Kierkegaard, Friedrich Nietzsche, Jean-Paul Sartre, and Martin Heidegger. Søren Kierkegaard and individual freedom. Let's start with Søren Kierkegaard, often considered the father of existentialism. Kierkegaard emphasized the importance of personal choice and individual freedom. He believed that each person must find their own path in life, guided by their subjective experiences and beliefs. Kierkegaard's idea that truth is subjectivity encourages us to seek meaning through our own experiences rather than relying on external authorities. Friedrich Nietzsche and the idea of the overman. Next up is Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche is famous for his concept of the Übermensch, or overman. He argued that traditional values and morals were limiting human potential, and that we should strive to transcend these limitations by creating our own values. Nietzsche's declaration that God is dead challenged the conventional foundations of morality and inspired people to find their own purpose and meaning. Jean-Paul Sartre and responsibility. Jean-Paul Sartre, one of the most prominent existentialists of the 20th century, introduced the idea that existence precedes essence. This means that we are not born with a predefined purpose. Instead, we create our essence through our actions and choices. Sartre emphasized absolute freedom and the responsibility that comes with it, which can be both empowering and daunting. His famous line, "Man is condemned to be free," highlights the weight of responsibility in shaping our lives. Martin Heidegger, and being Martin Heidegger, made significant contributions to existential philosophy with his exploration of being. In his work, Being and Time, Heidegger examined what it means to exist. He argued that most people live inauthentically, accepting existence at face value without questioning its deeper meaning. Heidegger encouraged us to embrace our mortality and strive for authentic existence, where we fully engage with the reality of our being. Existential psychology and therapy. The ideas of existential philosophy have also influenced psychology. Existential therapy, developed by psychologists like Viktor Frankl and Rollo May, focuses on finding meaning, personal responsibility, and accepting death as part of life. These approaches help individuals cope with existential anxiety and find purpose even in difficult times. How existential ideas can help us today. As we navigate an increasingly complex and uncertain world, existential philosophy offers valuable tools for understanding our lives. It reminds us of the importance of personal choice, responsibility, and creating our own meaning. Instead of relying solely on external sources for validation, we can find fulfillment in our daily lives by embracing the complexity and multifaceted nature of existence. Conclusion. Existential philosophy provides a rich tapestry of ideas and tools for understanding ourselves and the world around us. It teaches us to take responsibility for our lives, seek our own paths, and find meaning even in the most challenging situations. Apart from the philosophers we've already discussed, existential philosophy also includes other significant thinkers whose ideas deserve attention. Let's briefly cover a few more. Simone de Beauvoir and existential feminism. Simone de Beauvoir, a renowned French philosopher and writer, made significant contributions to existential philosophy, especially in the context of feminism. In her book, The Second Sex, she explored the oppression of women and argued that one is not born but rather becomes a woman. Her work emphasizes the importance of freedom and responsibility for women in creating their own identity and fighting for equality. Karl Jaspers and Transcendence. Karl Jaspers, a German philosopher and psychiatrist, introduced the concept of boundary situations, moments when individuals confront the limitations of their existence, such as death, suffering, or guilt. These situations prompt us to reflect on transcendence and the search for meaning beyond everyday life. Jaspers believed that true understanding of oneself and the world is possible only through such critical experiences. Emmanuel Levinas and the ethics of the other Emmanuel Levinas, a French philosopher, focused on ethics and relationships with others. He argued that our understanding of meaning and responsibility begins with the recognition of the other. Levinas emphasized that encountering another person is the foundation of ethics, which demands that we be attentive and responsible. Existential philosophy in literature and art. Existential themes are widely represented in literature and art. Novels by Albert Camus, such as The Stranger and The Plague, explore the absurdity of life and the struggle for meaning. In art, surrealists and abstract artists like Salvador Dali and Wassily Kandinsky often reflect existential ideas, depicting the complexity and multi-layered nature of human experience. Dear listener, I hope you like to think. Let's dive deeper and reflect on the topic of existential philosophy. Existential philosophy and the meaning of life. Existential philosophy addresses one of the most fundamental questions. What is the meaning of life? The essence of existentialism is that the meaning of life is not predetermined. We create it through our actions and choices. In today's world, where people often face feelings of emptiness and alienation, this philosophy can provide valuable tools for finding personal meaning and purpose. Existential freedom and responsibility. Freedom is a central concept in existentialism. However, freedom is inextricably linked with responsibility. Jean-Paul Sartre asserted that man is condemned to be free, meaning that with freedom comes the full responsibility for our actions. This can be both inspiring and daunting, as it requires constant self-awareness and honesty with oneself. Existential authenticity. Authenticity is the pursuit of living in accordance with one's true desires and beliefs, rather than conforming to external pressures and expectations. Existential philosophers emphasize the importance of recognizing our mortality as a way to prompt a more genuine and fulfilling life. Accepting our finitude allows us to appreciate every moment and be more mindful in our actions. Existential anxiety arises from the awareness of freedom and the inherent uncertainty of life. While this anxiety can be a source of fear and distress, it can also serve as a catalyst for personal growth and self-discovery. There are various methods for managing existential anxiety, such as meditation, self-reflection, and creativity, which help us find meaning and cope with uncertainty. Ideas have found applications in psychotherapy. Existential therapy, developed by psychologists like Viktor Frankl and Rollo May, focuses on finding meaning, accepting personal responsibility, and embracing death as a part of life. These approaches help individuals cope with existential anxiety and find purpose even in challenging situations. Creativity is a powerful tool for exploring and expressing existential themes. Through art, literature, music, and other forms of creativity, people can delve into their deep emotions, thoughts, and experiences. The creative process allows us to process and make sense of our existential fears and hopes, creating a space for personal and spiritual growth. Existentialism is full of paradoxes. We are free, but this freedom can terrify us. We seek meaning, but the world can seem absurd. Accepting these paradoxes and finding ways to overcome them are key aspects of existential philosophy. Understanding and embracing these contradictions can lead to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world. The modern era of digital technology and social media brings new challenges and opportunities for existential exploration. Virtual reality, online identities, and digital communication are changing our perception of ourselves and the world around us. Existential philosophy helps us critically assess these changes and find a balance between the virtual and the real, creating space for genuine human experience. Existential philosophy provides powerful tools for understanding and overcoming life's challenges. It teaches us to take responsibility for our lives, seek authenticity and meaning, cope with anxiety, and live fully. In a world full of uncertainties and changes, these ideas are more relevant than ever and can serve as a guiding star on the path to personal and spiritual growth. The absurd and the search for meaning. One of the most profound concepts in existential philosophy is the idea of the absurd. Coined by Albert Camus, the absurd refers to the conflict between humanity's inherent desire to find meaning in life and the indifferent, often chaotic nature of the universe. This tension creates a sense of dissonance as we seek to impose order and significance on a world that resists our attempts to do so. Camus famously illustrated this concept in his essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, where he likens the human condition to the mythological figure Sisyphus, condemned to roll a boulder up a hill only for it to roll back down each time it reaches the top. The act is inherently meaningless, yet Sisyphus continues his task with determination. For Camus, this persistence in the face of the absurd is where true meaning is found. It is not about the outcome, but about the process, the act of living itself. This notion invites us to embrace the absurdity of life rather than flee from it. By acknowledging the absurd, we can live more fully, finding meaning in the very act of seeking it, even if the search itself appears futile. This approach fosters resilience and a deeper appreciation for the fleeting moments of joy and connection in life. Freedom, isolation, and connection. Existentialism places a heavy emphasis on individual freedom, our ability to make choices and shape our lives. However, this freedom often comes with a sense of isolation. When we realize that we are alone in our freedom, without predetermined paths or absolute truths to guide us, it can lead to feelings of alienation. This is a fundamental aspect of what existentialists refer to as existential isolation. Yet this isolation also creates the conditions for genuine connection. When we engage with others recognizing their own existential freedom and struggles, we form bonds that are based not on superficiality, but on a deep, shared understanding of the human condition. This recognition can lead to profound empathy and solidarity, as we see in each other the same search for meaning, the same confrontation with the absurd. In this sense, existentialism teaches us that true connection with others arises not from shared beliefs or values, but from a shared experience of existence. This connection is authentic precisely because it acknowledges and embraces the underlying isolation and freedom that define human life. Existentialism and the fear of death. Death is an inevitable part of the human experience, and existentialism does not shy away from this reality. In fact, it confronts death head-on, seeing it as a crucial element in understanding life itself. The awareness of our mortality can be a source of profound anxiety, what existentialists refer to as existential dread or angst. However, rather than being a purely negative force, this awareness can also be liberating. By accepting the inevitability of death, we are reminded of the preciousness of life. This acceptance encourages us to live more authentically, to prioritize what truly matters, and to discard trivial concerns. It also compels us to create meaning in the here and now, rather than postponing our search for significance to some distant future. This focus on mortality is not about morbid fascination, but about using the knowledge of our finite existence to fuel a deeper engagement with life. It pushes us to ask the important questions. How do I want to spend my limited time? What relationships do I want to nurture? What legacy do I want to leave behind? Existential ethics, living with integrity. Existentialism also offers a framework for ethics that is deeply personal and grounded in individual responsibility. Since existentialists reject the notion of universal moral laws imposed from outside, they argue that we must create our own ethical guidelines based on our experiences and choices. This does not mean that anything goes or that morality is arbitrary. Rather, it suggests that we have a responsibility to live in accordance with our values, which must be authentically chosen and consistently applied. This form of integrity requires ongoing self-reflection and the courage to act in ways that align with our principles, even when it is difficult. For example, if one values honesty, existential ethics would demand that they practice honesty not just when it is convenient, but especially when it is challenging. Living with integrity in this way is what gives life coherence and meaning, even in the face of the absurd. This focus on mortality is not about morbid fascination, but about using the knowledge of our finite existence to fuel a deeper engagement with life. It pushes us to ask the important questions. How do I want to spend my limited time? What relationships do I want to nurture? What legacy do I want to leave behind? Existentialism and social change. While existentialism often focuses on the individual, it also has important implications for society. By emphasizing personal freedom and responsibility, existentialism encourages individuals to take an active role in shaping the world around them. This can be a powerful motivator for social change. When we recognize that there are no preordained structures or inevitable paths in history, we also recognize our ability and responsibility to create change. This has been a significant influence on various social and political movements where existentialist ideas have inspired people to challenge oppressive systems, advocate for human rights, and fight for justice. Existentialism teaches that while we may be alone in our freedom, we are also collectively responsible for the world we live in. This collective responsibility is where existentialism intersects with social activism, as it calls on individuals to not only seek personal meaning, but also to contribute to the betterment of society as a whole. The role of art in existentialism. Art, in its many forms, plays a crucial role in existential philosophy. It serves as a medium through which individuals can explore and express the complexities of human existence. Whether through literature, visual art, music, or film, art provides a space to confront the absurd, grapple with existential anxiety, and celebrate the freedom of creation. Existentialist art often reflects themes of alienation, freedom, and the search for meaning. It challenges conventional narratives and explores the ambiguity and uncertainty that define human life. Through art, existentialists express their deepest fears and hopes, creating works that resonate with the shared experiences of others. Moreover, the process of creating art itself is an existential act. It embodies the principles of freedom and responsibility as the artist makes choices about form, content, and meaning. This creative freedom is an expression of the individual's ability to shape their world, making art a powerful tool for existential exploration and communication. The role of art in existentialism. Art, in its many forms, plays a crucial role in existential philosophy. It serves as a medium through which individuals can explore and express the complexities of human existence. Whether through literature, visual art, music, or film, art provides a space to confront the absurd, grapple with existential anxiety, and celebrate the freedom of creation. Existentialist art often reflects themes of alienation, freedom, and the search for meaning. It challenges conventional narratives and explores the ambiguity and uncertainty that define human life. Through art, existentialists express their deepest fears and hopes, creating works that resonate with the shared experiences of others. Moreover, the process of creating art itself is an existential act. It embodies the principles of freedom and responsibility as the artist makes choices about form, content, and meaning. This creative freedom is an expression of the individual's ability to shape their world, making art a powerful tool for existential exploration and communication. Thank you all so much for taking the time to listen to this exploration of existential philosophy. I hope you found our discussion thought-provoking and inspiring. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the ideas we covered today, so please share your opinions and insights in the comments below. Your perspective is invaluable, and I'm eager to see how you engage with these concepts. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can stay updated on our future content. We have plenty more exciting topics to explore, and I wouldn't want you to miss out. Once again, thank you for joining me on this philosophical journey. I appreciate your support, and I look forward to continuing the conversation in the next video. See you soon.